Hello, welcome to Election Minute. Most states use what is called plurality voting, also known as first-past-the-post voting. Plurality voting is where everyone votes for a single candidate out of two or more candidates, and whoever wins the highest percentage of votes wins. However, sometimes the winner will receive under 50% of the vote. For example, it is possible for the winning candidate in an election to obtain only 30% of the vote and still win, despite 70% of the voters not voting for that specific candidate. Ranked choice voting keeps this from happening by having people rank their candidates from their first pick to last pick. If a candidate reaches at least 50% of the vote, that candidate is declared the winner by default and nothing else happens. However, if no candidate reaches at least 50% of the vote and your first pick does not win, then your vote is transferred to your second pick. For example, here on this ranked choice voting ballot, I will select candidate D as my first choice, and if candidate D does not win, I want my vote to change to candidate B. If candidate B does not win, I will want my vote to go to candidate C, then to candidate A if candidate C does not win. The results come in and candidate A received 40% of the vote, candidate B received 39% of the vote, candidate C received 11%, and candidate D received 10%. Since candidate D came in last and no one received at least 50% of the vote, a second round of votes will take place and whoever selected candidate D as their first choice will have their votes transferred to their second pick. Notice that not all the votes for candidate D transferred to candidate B. That is because not everyone who chose candidate D as their first choice chose candidate B as their second choice. Some who chose candidate D as their first choice chose candidate C or A as their second choice. As you can see, 4% of candidate D's votes went to candidate C, 5% went to candidate B, and 1% went to candidate A. Though candidate B is in the lead, no one has reached a 50% majority yet, so now candidate C is out of the race and her votes will be distributed to candidate A and candidate B according to the voter's second choice from candidate C. A third round will commence. In the third round, candidate C's votes will be distributed based on what the voters chose as their next choice. As we can see, 5% of candidate C's votes are transferred to candidate B, while 10% of candidate C's votes are transferred to candidate A, giving candidate A a total of 51% of the vote and making candidate A the winner of this hypothetical election. This may bring up questions like, wouldn't the system confuse voters? What if I don't want to have my vote distributed to anyone else? To answer both questions, one can simply only check the first box and no other. That way, you can still vote the way you usually would in an election and your ballot won't be rejected because if it does not contain any more choices and your candidate is eliminated, then you will simply not have your vote transferred to anyone else. As I'm recording this, ranked choice voting in the US is mostly used in city elections. However, back in 2016, voters in Maine approved Question 5, making Maine the first state to use ranked choice voting in statewide elections for governor, state legislature, and Congress. In 2018, Jared Golden, member of the House of Representatives from Maine's 2nd Congressional District, became the first congressman to be elected by ranked choice voting. Do you think ranked choice voting is a good idea? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like and subscribe if you would like to see more content from me in the future. Election Minute out.